A 2-year-old carefully pours water from a tiny pitcher into a cup. Half of it spills onto the table. The parent doesn't rush over, no sigh, no correction, no, you're doing it wrong. Just quiet attention as the child grabs a cloth, wipes the water, and tries again. It looks like nothing important is happening. In reality, this ordinary moment is helping build the kind of brain that learns to solve problems instead of waiting for someone else to solve them. When people hear about children who excel academically later in life, they often imagine flashcards, educational apps, or parents constantly teaching. But research in child development tells a different story. The strongest foundations for lifelong learning are built through everyday interactions that develop curiosity, language, self-control, and independent thinking long before formal education begins. Today, we're exploring 4 parenting habits commonly associated with Japanese family life that support healthy brain development during the earliest years. These aren't magic tricks, and they certainly don't guarantee a high IQ. Intelligence is shaped by many factors, including genetics, health, relationships, and opportunity. But these habits can help create an environment where a child's brain has the best chance to grow, adapt, and thrive. We'll count them down one by one. The first explains why doing less can sometimes help your child learn more. The second completely changes how children respond to mistakes. The third quietly strengthens language and emotional intelligence at the same time. And the last habit is the one I find the hardest to practice myself because it asks parents to trust the learning process instead of controlling every outcome. Some of these ideas may feel unfamiliar depending on how you were raised, and that's perfectly okay. Parenting isn't about copying another culture. It's about understanding the principles behind what works and deciding what fits your own family. Number 1. They let children struggle with small challenges instead of rescuing them immediately. The practice is surprisingly simple. A toddler's trying to put on their shoes. It takes longer than it would for an adult to do it. The straps are backwards, the shoe ends up on the wrong foot. Instead of stepping in after a few seconds, the parent waits. They stay close, offer encouragement if needed, but allow the child to wrestle with the problem. Here's where most parenting advice gets it wrong. We often equate helping with doing. We rush to fix, carry, tie, explain, or complete the task because it feels efficient. But every time we remove an age-appropriate challenge, we may also remove an opportunity for the brain to practice planning, adapting, and persisting. Developmental research consistently shows that children build executive function, the mental skills responsible for attention, working memory, and self-control, through repeated opportunities to solve manageable problems. Organizations like the Center on the Developing Child at Harvard University emphasize that these everyday experiences help strengthen the brain's developing architecture, especially when a supportive adult is nearby rather than taking over. Here's my opinion. This is harder than it sounds. Watching your child struggle with something you could fix in 5 seconds can feel uncomfortable. But I've come to believe that those extra 30 seconds of patience are often an investment in years of confidence. Every small challenge your child overcomes sends a quiet message: I can figure things out. And that's one of the most powerful beliefs a growing brain can develop. Number 2, they focus on daily routines instead of constant achievement. Many Japanese families place enormous value on predictable daily habits: cleaning up after play, putting away shoes before entering the home, helping set the table, packing school items the night before. These aren't treated as punishments or chores reserved for older children. They're simply part of everyday family life, introduced gradually and practiced consistently. Here's where most parenting advice gets it wrong. We often celebrate big achievements while overlooking small routines. We praise high grades, trophies, and exceptional talent, yet underestimate the cognitive power of ordinary habits repeated every single day. Research in developmental psychology has found that consistent routines support children's emotional security and self-regulation. Children who know what comes next spend less mental energy dealing with uncertainty and have more capacity to focus, learn, and adapt. Stable routines are also linked to better sleep, improved emotional regulation, and stronger readiness for learning. Honestly, I think this habit is incredibly underrated. It's easy to buy another educational toy because it feels like progress. It's much harder to patiently build routines that don't look impressive on social media, but quietly shape how a child thinks and behaves over time. Brains don't become resilient through occasional moments of excellence. They become resilient through ordinary moments repeated with consistency, patience, and purpose. Number 3. They fill everyday life with meaningful conversation instead of constant instruction. The practice often looks wonderfully ordinary. A parent and child are walking together. Instead of giving a stream of commands, hurry up, don't touch that, watch where you're going, the parent notices the world with the child. Why do you think those leaves are moving? Listen to that bird. Does it sound close or far away? What do you think will happen if the rain keeps falling? The goal isn't to quiz the child, it's to invite them into a conversation where their ideas matter. Here's where most parenting advice gets it wrong. We sometimes assume that talking to children is the same as talking with them. Explaining, correcting, and directing all have their place. But real back-and-forth conversation is where language, reasoning, and confidence grow together. Research has repeatedly shown that rich, responsive conversations are strongly linked with language development and later academic success. It's not simply the number of words a child hears that matters, it's the quality of the interaction, the pauses, the questions, the shared attention, and the feeling that their thoughts are worth listening to. Here's my opinion. This may be the easiest habit to start today because it costs absolutely nothing. You don't need expensive books or educational gadgets. You just need a little more curiosity than urgency. Some of the most powerful lessons happen while folding laundry, preparing dinner, or walking to the store. When a child feels heard before they learn to speak perfectly, they also begin believing their voice has value. Number 4. They teach respect through daily example, not daily lectures. One of the most striking aspects of Japanese parenting is that many lessons about kindness, responsibility, and consideration are modeled far more often than they're preached. Children watch adults greet others politely, care for shared spaces, wait their turn, apologize sincerely, and contribute to family life without expecting praise every single time. These behaviors become part of the environment the child grows up in. Here's where most parenting advice gets it wrong. We often believe children learn values because we explain them well. In reality, children are extraordinary observers. They notice what adults actually do far more than what adults say. Developmental psychologists have long emphasized the importance of observational learning. Children imitate behaviors they repeatedly see in trusted adults. When respect, patience, and responsibility are lived consistently, those behaviors become normal rather than exceptional. Honestly, this is the point that makes me reflect on my own behavior the most. Children don't just inherit our advice, they inherit our habits. They notice how we respond when we're tired, frustrated, interrupted, or disappointed. Those ordinary moments become their blueprint for handling life. In the end, your child may forget many of your words, but the way you lived in front of them becomes part of the person they are becoming. There's one final idea that quietly connects everything we've talked about today. The Japanese parenting habit that may have the greatest impact on a child's developing mind isn't a technique at all. It's a mindset. The mindset is this: development comes before performance. When a child struggles with a task, the goal isn't to finish it faster, it's to let the child grow through it. When a child makes a mistake, the goal isn't perfection, it's reflection. When a child asks 100 questions, the goal isn't to end the conversation, it's to keep curiosity alive. That's the thread running through every habit we've explored today. Research consistently shows that the early years are a period of extraordinary brain development. During this time, children aren't just learning facts, they're learning how to think, how to regulate emotions, how to approach challenges, and how to relate to other people. Those abilities become the foundation for everything that follows. Here's my opinion. I don't think the real lesson is that one country has discovered the perfect way to raise children. Every culture has strength. Every family has different realities. The lesson is that some of the most powerful parenting choices are also the quietest. They don't usually go viral, they don't require expensive products, and they rarely produce instant results. They simply ask us to slow down, to trust the process, to see childhood not as a race to create impressive children, but as a chance to raise capable, compassionate, curious human beings. Because a truly intelligent child isn't just someone who memorizes quickly, it's someone who keeps asking questions, keeps solving problems, keeps learning. That's a different kind of intelligence, and it lasts a lifetime. So if you remember only 3 ideas from today's video, let them be these: protect curiosity, build independence, and model the behavior you hope to see. Here's one thought I'd love for you to carry with you. The smartest children aren't raised by parents who know every answer. They're raised by parents who create an environment where learning never has to stop. And the best part is, you can begin building that environment tonight. Not with a purchase, not with a perfect routine, just with one small decision to give your child a little more patience, a little more trust, and a little more opportunity to grow. Which of these 4 habits made you stop and think the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might encourage another parent who needs to hear it today.